What is up, YouTube and Twitch? Knicks Universe, stand up. And all you DJs, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to another episode of the Knicks Morning Brew. I am your guy, Hector, host of the show, host with the most, but I cannot do this hosting thing if I don't bring in my guys. So first, I'm going to bring in my bro, Phil Portito. Philip, what it do, baby?
What up, bro? How's it going this morning?
Chilling, bro. Listen, I'm a little sluggish because I was drinking on some of that Dejan Haze last night.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sunday for the Knicks game, watching the Knicks game, I had to drink the Dejan Haze, and I got a little bit twisted. I'm not gonna lie, had me a little slump in the seat. But how was your weekend, bro?
I'll keep it chill, bro. I'll keep it chill. I won't be too loud for your head. Keep it relaxed.
Hangover mode is activated.
Man, but besides the way the games went this weekend, it was a good weekend. It's a Tyler weekend. So when you got two little ones, it's a lot of dressing up, a lot of trick-or-treating, a lot of carnivals and all that fun stuff. So that's been a lot of fun, just kind of enjoying family time, kind of disconnecting from work a little bit and just kind of like pressing into things that I enjoy, kind of like this show, like just doing things that I want to do, which is crazy. You don't get to do that a lot this time throughout the calendar year, but this week's been, very family focused. So I'm loving it, loving diving into this show today with you and, Jiggaman, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. So let's bring it in.
And talking about Jiggaman, I got to bring in my man. And I've been practicing this over the weekend. So I got to bring in my man, Jiggaman Porto. Was that good? Was that good enough? Yeah. I got it from the stomach. I said it from the stomach.
That's it, bro. You're hired, homie. That's it. Full-blown MC right there. What's up, fellas?
Chilling, baby. And of course, I have to be rocking the Knicks Morning Brew sweatshirt. I had to come through with the Knicks Morning Brew. Feel me?
From the merch store soon.
That's right. Soon. But Jigga, what is good, bro? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good, bro. Till about Sunday 9 p.m. when all of New York teams decided to just give me a gut punch. Boy, the Jets broke my heart. The Knicks broke my heart. I don't even give a crap about the Giants, but somehow they broke my heart too. It was just...
it's because Geno Smith. That's why the revenge of Geno Smith. That's what Sunday turned into. The revenge of Geno Smith. The Giants lost. The Jets lost against the Patriots, which was a horrible loss.
Horrible.
And then with the Knicks, we're sitting 3-3 right now on the season. Right, we lost the last game against the Bucks, and we lost Sunday game against the Cavs. Right, but I'm gonna put it like this. I know. When it comes to the Knicks universe, a lot of fans are upset, rightfully so, especially with Donovan Mitchell going off the way he went off yesterday, right? But we got our guy backstage, our guy Sean. Snap from the Knicks Wall podcast. Let's bring him
Impossible himself.
Let's go.
What it do, baby?
Yo, what's going on? It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking time, bro. Thanks for taking time in the morning with us, my guy. Salute. 3 capital S's.
Where's the J Boogie?
Yes, sir. J Boogie always. But
Sean,
go
man,
ahead, Jigga.
Congrats. You guys got your blue check mark last week. Y'all just skyrocketing, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, that was I literally saw that on my way to the home opener, so that was pretty cool. So
that's
awesome. It's a sign of things to come this year.
That's what's up. Listen, if that was me, I'll be walking around with a whole T-shirt with just my Twitter bio, just right there with the blue check mark, just so people know, Sean. So wear that proudly, my guy.
Thank you.
Well, look, at least we can start the conversation off with talking about the blue check mark, the happiness of that, before we jump into the mess that was this weekend. Sean, how you feeling after this weekend, bro? We catch you on a good morning, or did you wake up this morning like, man, I regret committing to doing this damn show this morning after that game last night?
Nah. I mean, this is an honor and a pleasure. I mean, last night was tough. I don't really care I just got off Twitter yesterday because I knew what it was going to be. Every game that we lose, everybody's going to act like the sky is falling, regardless of who we're playing against. Every game that we win, everybody's going to talk about why we barely won it or why it doesn't matter. And it's just nasty. I think that's my least favorite part of it. I mean, I would have liked to win these games, but like we're on the road against really tough teams, and it happens. You don't win all 82, and so there's things that we can take from both of these games and hopefully improve on and move forward. But nobody ever wants to talk about that. They just want to, oh, we suck. Oh, trade everybody, tank. Oh, this is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And Sean, I know we'll get into it, guys. But what did it take? 5 3-points from Donovan Mitchell, and the Twitterverse was like, "That's it. Jalen needs to go. What are we doing?" I was like, "Oh my God, it's been 5 3-pointers.
Why didn't we trade RJ?"
Yep.
Now, oh, Jalen was an overpay, and I'm just like, this is disgusting. Like, just the other day, he had 27 and 13 and stole our hearts, and now he's an overpay. And I was saying to people yesterday, it's okay to just watch the game. I think a lot of times people have takes for the sake of having a take, and they just got to be the one to say something, or they got to shake the table, and it's like, bro, if you don't have anything to say, just watch the game. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm in a few group chats when it comes to the Knicks community, and I had to mute a few of them last night because it was getting a little bit annoying. I'm not going to even lie, it was getting a little bit annoying. And just like you said, Sean, as a fan, you got to be able to just watch the game, right? Just be able to watch the game and wait till after the game before you try to come through with like you said, with your takes, just to have a take. Right at the beginning of the season, well, this is still the beginning of the season, but before Friday's game, right, when we was 3-1, everybody's thoughts, everybody's feelings was totally different. After this weekend, you're like, oh, we should have tanked Victor Wembanyama. We need a tank for Victor. It's just you gotta be consistent with it.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. It's like I've never seen so many keyboard coaches in my life than Knicks fans. I love Knicks fans, but it's like on one day, the same person will post, "Oh man, Jalen surprised me. I was wrong about Jalen." And then 3 days later, that same person's like, "See, actually, I retract my statement from Monday. I was right the whole time. Jalen's a bust." And I'm like, y'all are fighting with yourselves. This is just crazy. I don't need to comment because you're commenting to yourself back and forth that you're right, you're wrong. I'm like, just let the season happen, and things are different right now. People don't realize that. This isn't the last 2 years where the East is kind of playing the back seat. The East is a strong division right now. So what we're doing is still good, and we're still gelling. A lot of these teams have history, and a lot of teams we thought would be good are struggling, so it's going to take time for teams to figure it all out. And Knicks fans need to start being loyal. We talk about loyalty so much. Time to put money where the mouth is and show that you actually back your team, because someone coming in like Jalen with all that hate, that's not going to fuel his fire to do better. It's going to kind of ruffle his feathers, kind of like it did Randall last year. So we need to chill out, support, go for the journey, and enjoy it. This is still a game. We need to enjoy it and have fun.
Yeah, and I throw it over to Sean right afterwards. But it's us Knicks fans, right? We got to realize that the clown show in New York City, the circus show that's in New York City, that's in Brooklyn. That's at the Barclays, right? That's not Madison Square Garden. And for the first time within the past 20-something years, we can honestly say the clown show in New York City, the circus show in New York City, is not at 34th Street Penn Station. It's not Madison Square Garden. It's the Barclays Center right now. But Sean, I throw it over to you, and we're going to go back to Friday's game. But let me get your take for the entire weekend when it comes to the Bucks game and when it comes to the Cavs game. You want to start with the Bucks? What's your feelings after the Bucks game?
So my feelings after the Bucks game, that was a game where we shot the ball terribly. I mean, we didn't really play well. And we were still in the game with one of the top teams in the league, one of the top teams in the league, the number one defense. They were holding teams to under 100 points per game, and we scored 108. And, I think maybe that 108 points is enough if we gave up a lot of second chance points. And so a team that shoots well, that, their offense is built on Giannis crashing everybody and kicking it out. And, we did a good job defending them the first time, and then we give up an offensive rebound and give up a bucket. And now it's all that defense we played was for no reason. And so I think with the offensive rebounds plus us missing free throws, I think we could have put ourselves in a better position because we still have made that a game down the stretch. And so that's one of those games that even though it's a loss and it's frustrating, it was a little bit encouraging because it's like, okay, like we can play with these teams, like, you know, like, and that's, I think that's what we're supposed to do. Like our job is to beat the teams we're supposed to beat and put ourselves in position to compete with the contenders. And so, you know, I saw that in the Bucks game.
Great point. Yeah. Great point.
And I said that on Friday's episode, right? I said, look, if we can go in there and we can hold Giannis under 30 points, right? If you're able to make sure that our key contributors are putting up 20 points, we missed out on what we should have done on our job, right? We missed some free throws. We didn't play the defense we should have. But the score doesn't really tell the story, right? Because it looks like, oh, they got beat. No, we held our own, which was really great to see, especially against a team like that, right? It's not like we went in there and they just stomped all over us. No, we actually held it down and we looked good coming out of it, win or loss. But to me, I told you guys, if we didn't lose by 25 plus points, I was going to be happy after that game. Yeah, we have a lot of mistakes that we need to fix, right?
And like Jigga said, we needed him to be 30 or under for us to stand a chance. And we kept him to that. You know, the huge thing, you know, like Sean was saying, was offensively on the rebounds, we got destroyed. We gave them way too many second chance points. Like, I think they had like 19 offensive rebounds. When you are doing a good job stopping one of the most powerful like teams offensively, and you stop them, and then you give them another 24 seconds to try and do it again, you're hurting yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot, you know? And so, honestly, when I look at that, I'm like, man, Mitchell struggled early with fouls, so he wasn't out there a lot. And he wasn't able to grab those offensive rebounds we needed. And that's where they destroyed us, was the offensive rebounds, second chance points, and missed free throws. That's one thing that also hurt us. You know, we can't throw away free points. You know, when you're playing a team that stops you as much as they do defensively from scoring points, when you get a free point opportunity, you need to nail that down. As many free throws as we missed, I think we actually could have won the game with the amount of free throws that we missed if we would have made as many free throws as the Bucks did. So those were the two big things for us that stopped us. But if we fix those, we're neck and neck with one of the best teams in the league right now.
Yeah, and when you look at the start, you know, the stats from Friday's game, from the starters alone, you know, Julius Randle -14, right? Mitchell Robinson -7. Jalen Brunson -19, Evan Fournier -22, and RJ Barrett -8. It shows that when Jalen Brunson is shut down, when the shooters aren't knocking down their shots around Jalen Brunson and you just clog the paint, that's an easy game plan for an opposing team, right? And when you have, you know, Mitchell Robinson in foul trouble for the entire game with 5 fouls, then you have Julius Randle with 4 fouls, it just puts you behind the 8 ball and it puts you into a bad spot. Like Sean was saying, when it comes to the upper echelons of the NBA, like the big team, the contending teams, like the Milwaukee Bucks, you know, et cetera, those are the teams that the Knicks, they have to give maximum effort for, right? When it comes to Detroit, Charlotte, Washington, those teams, we understand those are the teams that we are expected to beat. But when it comes to the top echelon teams in the league, those are the games you have to have maximum effort. And as soon as you take your foot off the gas, the team's going to run over you. Go ahead, Jigga.
Yeah.
Like for real, and I don't mean it in a bad way, because we've said it from the get-go, right? We're not going to be one of those shows that just wants to fluff the Knicks, right? Oh, yay! Like we want to call it for what it is. But did any of us really go into that game saying, oh, we walking out with a W? Like, not in a negative way. Like, I didn't go into that game like, we walking out with a dub, right? My entire hope was, all right, you know what? I want to see a game. I want to see us continue to build that chemistry. But did any of us really go in there like, yeah, we got this?
Friday's game, I wasn't expecting us to go into Milwaukee and beat Milwaukee at home. I know a lot of fans was like, oh, we could do it. Still this game. Milwaukee was undefeated. No. And Milwaukee so far in this early part of the season, they're the best defensive team in the NBA stat-wise, you know, when it comes to stats and breaking it down. But no, I wasn't going in there expecting we was going to win. I went in there thinking that as long as we give maximum effort, I don't want to get blown out. And it kind of looked like we was going to get blown out until we came back late in the game.
Yeah. And honestly, when I look at it, I think, you know, once again, not throwing stones, but when you look at statistics of like our starters, we were having some problems, hitting, those field goal attempts. I blame some of it on the coaching because when you look at guys like Obi and you look at Rose, they both were over 60% in or 55% in field goal attempts. No one else was really doing that well. Yet they both got such little minutes comparative to Randall, RJ, and Fournier, who were in the 30s to 40s category. So you're sitting down people that are shooting 56 to 68% and putting back in people who have been struggling the whole game to make field goals. That's going to hurt us too. We're taking off points to put back missed opportunities. Didn't make sense.
If I can, I want to get Sean's take on this because Sean, especially these last two games, Knicks fans on Twitter have been questioning Tom Thibodeau and his rotation when it comes to OB's minutes, when it comes to IQ minutes. What's your thoughts so far on Tibbs' rotation? And do you think Cam, he's finally starting to show that he is more of a black hole than a team player? What's your thoughts on that?
So as far as Tibbs' rotations, I don't think they've been horrible, but I think they need to improve for sure. I think they're too rigid. And I think that was part of what we saw last night. There's no reason. Obi's shooting over 50% from three. He has a huge impact. I call Obi the best wide receiver in the NBA. He runs the floor amazingly. It opens things up for us. And yet, no matter how well he plays, he can't crack over 15 minutes. And he'll come out and he'll score. Like yesterday, there was a point where, again, in the Cavs game, Quick threw the most perfect outlet pass to Obi. It was beautiful. Landed right in his hand over the outstretched hand of the defender. He caught it, laid it up. Come right back. Derrick Rose throws it ahead to Quick in transition. Quick lobs it up to Obi. Cavs call timeout. Coming out of that timeout now, this is the play they've made to shift momentum and to cause the Cavs to call a timeout. They're on the bench, both of them.
He took them both out.
Yep.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense, regardless of I feel like sometimes minutes is less the quantity of minutes may be an issue. Obi should play more than 15 minutes. And in the fourth quarter, he didn't play extremely well, so he doesn't play as many there, whatever. That's understandable. But the quality of the minutes, while he's on the floor, while they're making an impact on the game, you have to let them ride for at least another 2 minutes. Get what you can out of them. He's playing really well right now. And honestly, Randall had a great third quarter. He was pushing the pace. He was setting everybody up. But in the first half, Randall wasn't playing so well that it was we got to get him back on the floor right now. Tibbs always says, and that's my issue. My issue is Tibbs always says, the game tells you what to do. Listen to the game. The game is blah, blah, blah. Well, if that's the case, then we've got to listen to the game. If the game is telling us, hey, these guys are making an impact, they should be left on the floor while that impact is being made.
You know what it might be, Sean? I'm starting to really think this. There might be something in the water, bro, because he got that same Aaron Boone mentality. Oh, you're doing something good? Let me pull your ass out of the game. And I'm starting to think there's some New York water issue. I'm just throwing it out there, all right?
Oh, listen, just because you live in a state that they chlorifying their whole water doesn't mean you have to attack New York City and the finest tap water there is, all right, brother? Jesus Christ.
That's true. Nah. But to Sean's point, man, that Obi Toppin thing drove me nuts, because if you listen to the game, kind of like when you're cooking, my wife's upstairs, she's preheating the oven, she puts something in. If I go up there and I open that up and I let a whole bunch of air back in, that's going to cool it all down. And then when I put the food in, it's not going to cook the same way. So for Toppin to be penalized because, he comes back in after he's already cooled back down and he doesn't do as great in the fourth quarter. And you're like, oh, that justifies my point. It's no, when homeboy was preheated where you should have left him cooking, you pulled him out of the oven. So that's you. That's you, coach. You a bad cook. So, yeah.
Snap it up. Sean said,
snap it up. Because, and that's what
I love the analogy.
Yeah, that's what frustrates me more about Tibbs because it's if, like Sean said, if the mentality is we have to, read the game and go with the flow of the game and trust the game and trust how things going. When Obi, like you said, and Obi and IQ, when they have that certain type of connection and they go on a little run, you can't take them out when they're hot. And the one thing that frustrates me when it comes to Tibbs and his subs, he doesn't sub like one player at a time. No, he makes like, all right, I'm sending out 5 players from the bench to go get all 5 starters. Like he just mismatched wrong. He just does sub. That's just me personally. I'm not too sure about what you guys think, but I just feel like taking 3 guys out at a time for them to get subbed, it just messes up with the flow of the game, especially when the team is cooking.
Yeah, he doesn't stagger as well, and like Phil was saying, because it's like that carries over. Like not only do you not get the best out of them in that second quarter when you take them out, but it's like you take them out in the second quarter with like 5 minutes left, and they don't see the floor, Obi, until like the 4th or the 3rd with a minute left, and now it's like. This guy has been sitting for like an hour in real time. Like, that has an impact. So I would like for us to, especially like the Milwaukee game, now is a big thing for me. We gave it that 18-0 run in the 3rd quarter. And at halftime, on halftime hope I was like, I hope that, because Quick looked great in the first half. And I was like, I hope we don't have to wait too long into the 3rd quarter to see the bench guys. And they went on that big run. He called a timeout in the middle of the run, and he put the same lineup back on the floor. And I just think that, you gotta be able to make that change earlier. Like it shouldn't be so rigid. It shouldn't be, okay, I'm gonna make this sub right here regardless. Like yesterday on the post game padding, I said, it's like 2K and you had the subs on auto and you just set a rotation and they're gonna make the sub at whatever time. And even 2K, if the guy's cooking, they'll leave him in the game even on auto. So all I want from Tibbs is to put the subs on manual. Put the subs on manual and respond to the game like you say you should.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring up that 2K analogy because it's like I know Obi, right? It gotta be like you're my player, like when your my player is cooking and there's a timeout and you get pulled out of the game, and the next time you pop up, it's 10 seconds in the 4th quarter. Like that's how Obi feels under Tom Thibodeau. Definitely, that's how Obi feels.
Well, we're gonna talk about Tibbs and decisions and stuff. Then I guess maybe we should move over to the Cavs game last night because I got a lot of Fournier questions that I need answers from you guys because I know I don't got them. All right, I know I don't. Okay, well, my wife's like, "Why you got an attitude?" I'm like, "It's not against you, baby. I'm having to watch Tibbs put Fournier in the game, and I don't know what's going on." And she's like, "You know what? I can't handle a Knicks Jets Sunday for you." And she walked out the room. All right, I know I got to go downstairs and apologize at some point today. I don't even know what for, but I'm sure it's because the Knicks and the Jets made me angry in some way. But what the heck was last night? I didn't agree with the rotation. I didn't agree with the moves he made. I don't understand the decisions to pull people out at certain points, or even why do we have Evan in there in the 4th? Like, what was going on? Please, someone tell me. One of you 3 have something to tell me because I got nothing. Nothing.
I don't know, Sean, help this man out.
They said, throw it to the guest. Throw it to Sean.
Sean, help this man out.
I mean, it's funny. Like in the 4th quarter, when Evan came to the scorer's table with like 4.5 minutes, I knew the game was over, and it was sad. I died a little inside when I saw him at the scorer's table. I kind of saw it coming. Quick put up a floater, it didn't go in. I was like, yeah, this feels like that time. And then he sent Evan, and Evan shot well last night. So I mean, I guess that's a justification for it. I was really, really confused, appalled, bewildered, flabbergasted, any one of those words. When I saw that the game plan was to match Evan Fournier up with Donovan Mitchell, like, what's happening? What's happening? But these are the thing is, none of this is new to me. I spent the entire summer saying that Evan Fournier cannot start on this basketball team. And that is exactly why. They didn't even have Darius Garland last night, and we still struggled to match up. And so just like you can't be a team that's going to be serious about winning basketball games and send Evan Fournier out to cover the Donovan Mitchells, the Jaylen Browns, the Zach LaVines, like the Tyrese Maxeys or the James Hart. Like you can't. He's not. It's not even that. No, he's not going to try. He's not capable. I don't think Evan Fournier did anything super terrible individually last night against Donovan Mitchell that he wouldn't have cooked anybody else. But it's just like, give yourself the best opportunity. Like those minutes where Cam was on the floor and Cam was on him, Cam is getting around the screens. Cam is cutting off the drive. Like he's making life harder for him. Evan Fournier is simply not capable of doing that. Like he got that one possession where he got a charge on him when he was in front of him. And, you know, maybe that makes the untrained eye think that he's doing a good job defensively on him, but like he doesn't, and he doesn't rotate well. Like he's not a good defender on or off ball.
But
and
he never was, right, Sean?
Never,
he was
never
never
has been,
never in his career.
Even before we got it, Phil, you struggled watching him for Orlando for years.
Yeah, so since I live in Florida now, like even though I'm a diehard Knicks fan, basketball is something that I never want to miss. You know, so I had season tickets for a while, and Evan Fournier on defense is one of the hardest things to watch because it kind of looks like when you bring a puppy home for the first time. Like they're all around you, but they don't know what they're doing. They're still trying to figure it out. So they're jumping, they're licking, they're running, like, and you're just like, oh my goodness, this is kind of sad because it just wants to feel at home, but it has no clue where the frick it is. So if we're talking about Fournier and Tibbs and everything from last night, I'm switching from a latte to a new kind of morning brew.
All right.
So, if we're talking Bucks, some Wolves whiskey in the glass, let's be real, and let's chat about the pain that was last night, because you put Fournier on Spider, and what we did as a Knicks organization is we made us not getting Donovan look way worse than it was. You're pretty much giving one of the best scorers in the league free reign. That's like me suiting up tomorrow and guarding Donovan Mitchell. And I'm 5'6", and I probably would stop him more than Fournier.
You do a better job.
Exactly. You know, so we actually made that trade not happening look so much worse than it actually is by putting Fournier on him.
I want to point out before Hector, you take over, or Sean, but this is when the moment that I realized that my actual brother, Phil, is getting old, because both of his analogies had to do with his wife cooking, and then he had puppies that came home. All right. Hey, bro, I want you to know we getting old, homie. All right.
No, bro.
Next analogy, when you pull the vacuum out and you start to
Oh, man.
No, that's right. But when it comes to Evan Fournier, I agree, bro, because if you're going to go all in on Jalen Brunson, right, as your point guard on this team, you need to surround him with the right players that match him. You can't send him out there with Evan Fournier as his back mate court. Now, could you have Evan Fournier and Jalen Brunson as your point guard and shooting guard? Yes, if you had all defenders for the rest of the position, absolutely. But when you're lacking on that side of the ball, you know, when it comes to Julius Randle, you know, he gives maximum effort, but he's not a top defender in the league, right? Mitchell Robinson, as much as I love Mitchell Robinson is probably the best raw defender we have on this team. But at the same time, Mitchell Robinson is constantly in foul trouble, right? Mitchell Robinson constantly puts himself behind the 8 ball because he gets into foul trouble. So we need to go out there and find somebody that takes Evan's spot. I'm not sure if it's somebody that we already have in-house, but Evan seems like he's a nice guy, but like we all agree, he's a horrible defender, and he's a one-trick pony. It seems like this team has players that are good with one thing, but they lack with the other thing. They can either shoot the three, but they can't play defense, or they can play a little bit of defense and they can hardly shoot. We need to find a well balance of it all.
But I think when Grimes comes back, that changes that.
Yeah,
when Grimes comes back, that could change that. Like,
if Grimes gets a foot,
it's weird.
Obviously, he's missing a foot supposedly at this point, right? We don't even know it. They amputated that shit. All right, I just want you all to know, like, that has to be what it is, because I haven't heard anything else. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sore left foot. I don't know what's going on. I hope that it's fixed soon, because we do need him. I think that if he was here, I think that was their plan. I think the reason that Evan's still here, still starting, is because Quentin Grimes has a bad foot. But I really wish I would have known that Evan Fournier was going to be guarding Donovan Mitchell yesterday, because I would have taken over 30 on all my parlays.
Oh, man, definitely.
I had no idea. I would have definitely taken over 30. Like,
Definitely. You would think that Tom Thibodeau would game plan for this game and have somebody else guarding Donovan Mitchell. But he's like, you know what, Evan, I trust you. You were good in FIBA this year, so go ahead.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
And
go ahead, Sean.
I try not to be married to my narratives. I try not to I also don't like complaining over and over again. So I was saying it was completely unacceptable to start this season with Evan Fournier as a starter all summer as we got to training camp. All of it. And it's just now we're here, and it's how long can we do this? If we're serious about winning games, if we're serious about competing with these teams, he cannot be a starter. And that's not because I don't like him personally. That's not – it just doesn't make sense. And, at some point we're going to see, the empirical evidence is there. We're watching the games. You're seeing it happen. You're seeing him not rotate. You're seeing him not make those closeouts. You're seeing him not move his feet. You realize that you can't match up with teams teams are gonna have primary wings every game. There's all these teams. There's a lot of teams where even if you put RJ on one of them, there's Jason Tatum and there's Jaylen Brown, there's DeMar DeRozan, there's Zach LaVine, there's James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and Tobias Harris. There's every team is gonna have these guys where you're gonna have to line up with somebody, and you don't have anywhere to put this guy, and that hurts in the regular season. But God forbid we get to the playoffs, we cannot. You cannot be serious. You got to be for real.
And that's the weirdest thing.
Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
No, that's just my weirdest thing for who our coach is. For years they talk about how he's such a defensively minded coach, and that's his strong suit. Yet that's something that first we gave the bag to someone who's never played defense in his career, and we continue to give him minutes over people who are at least trying on defense. Even though he's not the greatest defender, you see guys like Obi come out and give effort time and time again. You see Reddish giving effort. You see Quickly, even though he's small, getting effort. Quickly would rather foul you at the basket than let you get to the basket. That's something you don't see in Fournier. And so it's weird for a defensive-minded coach to let that slide so much and give Evan so many minutes when he could be coming off the bench, give us a little bit of firepower here and there when he's on, and that's it. I don't get it.
Yeah. Sean, I want your take on what's your feeling. I want your post on Cam Reddish at this part of the season. The start of the season, Cam Reddish. What's your take on Cam? You think this is a long-term solution, or you think Cam is just trying to find his way onto a starting rotation on another team? What's your thoughts?
Well, I don't think there's any team right now outside of maybe the Lakers where Cam would start. But I do think Cam has potential. Cam is a really solid defender. He's got length. He's got the strength. He can move his feet. He knows where to be. He's got active hands. He's a very solid defender. His jumper has looked solid this year. He hasn't taken it a lot, but in the times he's taken it, it's been pretty good. And I love the way Cam operates in transition, the way he finishes at the basket. And so there's a lot of things that Cam does that can help a team. I think that at times Cam gets a little there's certain moves he makes. He threw up one yesterday where he was falling down.
Bro. He had no idea where he was.
I'm bro, and the thing is, I think it was Obi that was open in the corner. And it was listen, I know you might be under duress right now, but the same effort that you put into throwing a shot at the basket, you could have tried to kick it out to the corner. You don't have to. I think sometimes Cam forgets he has an A button. I'm not saying he never passes. He'll go to the basket and he'll be he's made his decision that he's going to shoot the ball. And you should never really make your decision that you're going to shoot the ball. And also, he plays like he's a little too cool for school sometimes. He'll make a move, and I think he plays like he's on the playground, and he's playing he's a kid in high school that came to pick up his brother, but his brother was playing on the courts, so now he's playing with sixth graders, and he's making moves, and all lackadaisical, and he makes that spin move and steps back, and he doesn't bring the ball with him, and it's hey, bro, maybe if you were doing it a little less cool, the ball would come with you. So I would just like Cam to lock in a little bit. And I want to see him have another one of those games like he had the first night, just for the sake of his confidence. And I would like to see him continue to do well so that when Quentin Grimes comes back, I don't have to watch Evan Fournier play basketball. But that's wishful thinking.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because did you guys see the little kids that were playing at halftime? They played that game. Did you guys catch that? Yeah, that little kid made the same shot Cam did. They both had no idea where they were underneath the rim, and they just threw it up. I was like, oh, snap. That was instant copycat shit right there. It was so good. I love it. I really did.
Yeah. Cam was spinning around looking like the Tasmanian devil out there sometimes.
And you saw Sean, he does that. He gets that look like he's ready to go in the hole. He goes, and then next thing it's spin up. You're like, no. He's trying to do too much.
Sean, man, you said it best, man. There's glimpses of Cam's game that are so promising, but like watching him this season as someone who wanted him to succeed, it kind of reminds me of like those stages in life where you like want to sit at a certain cool kid's table, and you know you kind of got to earn your spot. So when you get there, you say things that you really shouldn't say, and like you think it was funny and no one else thinks it was funny, like, but you're trying too hard to actually get accepted. I feel like that's what he's doing on the court. Like, he wants that spot. He wants to be on the team. He wants to silence all the haters. So he takes all that on his back, and instead of just playing ball, he's playing to prove something. He's playing to show that he's somebody. And that's where he doesn't think, oh, what's best for the team? He thinks, if I can get to this basket and score on so-and-so, it's going to look good for me. But then he winds up tripping and throwing it because he only had plan A. He didn't have plan B of actually playing with a team. So he's stumbling over himself because he's in his mind. Like, I don't feel like he's playing like an arrogant guy that showed up to the sixth grader thing. I think he's a guy who graduated high school, didn't make the team, and in his insecurity, he's showing up to the sixth graders to try and play and prove something and still not doing as great. So I feel like it's more insecurity than pride. Yeah, exactly. Like, he's got a college degree showing up with like 16-year-olds like, yo, I'm here to ball. So I think it's insecurity for sure on Cam's part.
Man, it sounds like you just wrote a pilot to like Billy Madison Part 2, bro. Like, I was like, yo, he just
summed up my entire high school career. Thank you so much.
Now, guys, I know, Sean, we have a hard stop. I know you got your show you got coming up. You got to get ready for that. But before we let you go, Sean, I mean, obviously the Knicks wall, you got everything going on. You know, what do you got coming up, man? What can we look forward to? Make sure everybody in the chat, if y'all don't jump in on the Twitter spaces, y'all are crazy. But go ahead, Sean. Let everybody know what we can do to follow you and all that good stuff.
So, you know, I hate Sean. I hate SHAUN. The Knicks wall, tap in with us. We got everything for you. We got articles. We got a podcast. We got a show, TKW Weekly. If you haven't caught it yet, check it out. You know, the YouTube channel, post games after every game. So subscribe there. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You can catch me at noon on Twitter Spaces and KCDA the day after games with my homies Julito and Said and the rest of the Knicks community. And then, you know, as far as me, I've got Unpossible, so I'll be putting hoodies back out soon. It's hoodie season. It's getting a little colder.
Nice.
So stay tuned. You can get yourself a hoodie. I'm also probably going to drop sweatpants this time. So,
yes.
You know, unpossibleop.com, t-shirts, hats, positive thinking caps, all of it. We got it. And so, you know, and I'll probably put out music soon too, but we'll see.
Oh, you got, well, if you dropping music, you got to give us a track so we can play on the show, bro, one of these days, Sean.
Say less. That's perfect. I got you.
Yeah, you know, we have to play that Julito stuff next week. You know, we got him coming through. We got to, you know, you let us know when you're ready, Sean. We bring you back and let's do it.
Say less. I'm with it. I had a great time, man. This is hilarious. You guys are great. I love the analysis. I love the analogies.
I appreciate that, Sean.
Appreciate you, bro.
Sean.
Salute. You know, I'll be jumping the Twitter Spaces here with you in a little bit. Appreciate you for stopping through, homie.
No doubt. Appreciate you guys having me. You guys have a great one. It was a blast.
Later, Sean. Appreciate it. Great time. His name may say I hate Sean, but I love Sean. Just know that we love Sean.
That's it. All right. I'll pay for the changing of your tag, Sean. All right. Yeah. You gotta get it right. I hate Sean. AKA no, we really don't. Everybody
we love
Sean.
Sean. Yeah, we love Sean.
Long, you know what I mean? It's too that's Twitter handle.
My guy DSJ is in the chat. DSJ, what it do? Let me just highlight the chat for a second. We got somebody said, "Do you guys
do you read the chat?
Do we read the chat? We read the chat. Best way."
Hey Phil, can you read that? What does that say? Do you read that?
I don't know.
Which one? Do you guys read the chat? Fars and chops. Fars and chops.
Hold on. Let me make sure I can do this right. Do you guys read chat? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was quizzing us. What's
Do
up?
you guys
Fresh
read?
Honey
Oh, read.
Chops?
Oh, I put the duh in there. But Fresh and Chai, he said before Sean goes, my guess for his name, age, and job based on appearance is Julian, 39, and an underwear model. 3 days a week and 2 days a week he serves sushi.
Oh man!
Copy.
All right, screenshot that. We got.
You sure you want to read the chat? You sure we should be reading the chat?
Yeah, what just happened? Now I don't want to read the chat.
Shout out my man Bones in the building. Bones, what it does, Sir Coda, what it do, and of course Trippy with the VSN basketball station, what it do. But fellas, that was a good conversation with Sean.
Yeah, it was.
When it comes to Cam Reddish, right? And Phil, obviously, he laid out and summarized my entire high school career by that analogy with Cam Reddish. But when it comes to Cam Reddish, like you said, Phil, I feel that he's trying too hard, right? He has some games that you see the potential, you see what he can do, but then when it's not going the right way for him, when everything's not clicking, it just seems like he's pressing too much, right?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like when it looks like he's having fun, it looks like he does it naturally and connects with the rest of the team. And I feel like those moments get in his head where he's like, I got to be the one to step up. Like, we're not doing well. This is on me. And that's the problem. Like, Julius bore that same burden last year, and like it crumbled him. So I don't want to see it crumble Cam. Like, I want Cam to like snap out of this and go back to like the first 2 games of the season where you saw him start to like evolve and do these great 3-pointers, these great dunks, these great passes. Like, something's going on in his head where it's battle between like who he can be as a basketball player and what he's trying to do.
I'm Phil. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the chat. This man is hilarious. He said, bottom guy is Shannon, his 37, and he's staying shirtless on top of water slides saying, yep, next person.
Next. You can't do that. So, that's the wrong tube.
Did you see his top left one?
And then, I'm Cody. He said top left guy is Cody 46, and he works as a wet floor sign placer at Walmart.
I don't even want to like read mine. Like, yo, just get off the chat real quick.
Top right is Ethan 23 and a real estate agent. All right, no more reading
I'll take
the
it,
chat.
bro.
No more reading the chat. Yeah, you're the one guy that actually has a career. Like me and Jiggaman,
bro.
We just
I'm looking at Great Wolf Lodge and shit. Like, what is going on?
Back to the game from yesterday. One thing we talked about, Donovan Mitchell went off, but I think we can all agree that the game changer, it was Kevin Love. 29 points, 8 rebounds. Kevin Love went back into the bag. He found the fountain of youth. Back to the days when he was in Cleveland with LeBron James, and he showed out yesterday. What's your thoughts on Kevin Love, guys?
Jig, I'll let you hit it first. Love,
I mean, the man had 29 points in 22 minutes, 8 rebounds and an assist. It's what I feel like every time we play the Cavs, we put a focus on one player, and then they have somebody that just comes and murders us. Who was it last time? Rubio? Remember that game?
It was Grayson. It was Grayson Allen. Oh, well, with the Cavs. Yeah. Rubio. Yeah.
So I just felt like it was one of those things. You put such a focus on wanting to cover Donovan, but I even have a hard time saying that because if that was the focus, why was Fournier on him, right? And then you leave Kevin Love. I mean, Love was just on fire, right? And we talked about it between us 3, right? We didn't want to be a game changer. Always has to be a New York Knick. No, the game changer last night, hands down, in that loss was Kevin Love. We knew Mitchell was gonna feast, and he did. Right, we know the talent that dude has. There's no question of that. But everybody talk about that. Everybody forgot about Love, and Love put it on us, boy. He was just
and it seems like for some reason, and this is just a Knick thing, right? This has nothing to do specifically with the coaches or the players, but for some reason, there's always a random role player that makes a name for themselves. Like DSJ just said, Kevin Love and Dean Wade, another role player that makes a name for himself against the Knicks. And it's true. The last game against the Bucks, it was Grayson Allen, right? Grayson, who is a dirty player in the NBA. Allen went off against the Knicks. And, we could put so much effort in trying to make sure that the main guys on the team, on the opposing team, like the Giannis, like the Donovan Mitchell, like we could try to make sure that they don't kill us. But at the same time, we can allow a role player like a Dean Wade or like a Grayson Allen to go off like the way they've been going off.
But let me ask you both a question about this. And Phil, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
Last night, again, in the game before, I mean, it's pretty obvious, and I think you guys would agree, we have no perimeter defense. Like, I feel like we cannot stop the three ball at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why Kevin Love can have the night he had, right? Spider hit 5 threes to start the game. Like, we are struggling when it comes to protecting the outside. Inside, we're solid. But I think anybody, if you're shooting a three right now, any three-point team is going to feast on us if we're playing like we did last night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's weird when you watch us, unlike any other team that I watch, we have this weird thing where we're always having to jump out to the three-point line. Like, we're nowhere close to people when they're on a three-point line, which I don't understand. When you got players like Kevin Love, who they're known for being three-point shooters, like, he's not the kind of guy that's going to bully you into the paint. So why are you playing far off of him when you should be, like, attached to that homie's belly button? You know, like, growing up, when you're being taught to play, you're supposed to be, like, close, close enough that you can put a hand on if you need to. They go this way, you could, a little arm check here and there. Our guys are throwing arms all the way out and not being anywhere close to the shooter. Like, that's a weird thing that I've been seeing with our team is we're always a step behind jumping out to the three-point line instead of making someone earn the three-point shot. We're gifting three-point shots right now.
Yeah, and this is where it gets frustrating, right? Because I understand Tom Thibodeau's, his logic is he needs Evan out there because Evan is the only person in the starting rotation that can knock down an open theory consistently, right? If we need RJ Barrett to step up. If RJ Barrett steps up and become the player that us Knicks fans know that he could be, or we see the potential in him to be able to be that 25 points a game scorer, knock down the three ball consistently, it'll be easier for Tibbs. It'd be easier for us to take Evan out of the starting rotation, slot RJ to the shooting guard, and go out there and finally get a small forward that can do both defend and knock down the three. Because right now, having RJ at the small forward position, I think that's a bad spot for this team, and I think that's a bad spot for RJ and his career.
Yeah. Like, I think he would have played defense on Spider way better last night. Like, way better. I think he could have played defense on Donovan. I honestly would have liked to see Fournier get sat, Obi come in on the 3 spot, Randall play the 4, and run that team. Let Jalen, RJ, Obi, Randall, Mitch. Let's see what that would have happened. Like, I just don't understand, like, doing the same thing over and over when it's not working. Like, switch it up if it's not working. Like, there was nothing that Fournier could do to stop him last night. So to even bring him back to do that just didn't make sense. Like, it should have been, hey, this obviously isn't working. Let's switch it up.
Yeah, and Phil, to your point, I throw it over to Jigga right after. It's like the Knicks had at different times, they threw everybody at Donovan Mitchell and nobody could stop him, right? So it's like you at one point, you started the game with Fournier guarding him. That was horrible, right? He scored 15 points in that first quarter or whatever. Then you threw RJ at him. RJ got into foul trouble. Then you threw Julius. You had Julius Randle in the fourth quarter guarding Donovan Mitchell. It just made him, it was a matchup nightmare last night. Go ahead, Jigga.
Yeah, no. It's overall not only the matchup issue, not being able to protect the perimeter. I mean, our top scorer, and correct me if I'm wrong, was Evan Fournier last night, right? With 16 points. That was our top scorer.
Up right now. Him and Brunson, they were tied 16 apiece.
Right. So that tells you it there. I mean, he was 3 for 5 from 3-point. Right. So he put him in. Why? Because he was scoring. Like, why are you focusing just on the person that's getting points instead of the chemistry of the entire team?
Yeah.
Like, Fournier could have thrown up 20, 24. It didn't matter because what we needed the help on big time last night was on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's the thing.
it kills me a little bit.
Yeah.
We have scorers. We don't have defenders. Like where we would lose his points, we would gain defensively. As like we have other people that could step up and fill that scoring role, while still not sacrificing all the points that we gave up last night.
It's a great question from DSJ. He said, "Is it time to fire Tibbs, or should we exercise patience still? This is the last season that we can have that's optimistic when it comes to Tibbs, right? Like, there's no more waiting and see. And just like we said on the first episode, right? If you guys haven't watched it, go back and watch the first episode in the chat. If you haven't, it was an awesome show. We got over 400 views, dope. But when you look at
likes.
hit those likes,
hit those likes, make sure to follow.
When you look at this team, right? There's no kid gloves. There's no kid gloves for anybody. RJ, 4th year, he got his bag, cool. There's no kid gloves. There should be no trying to defend or trying to baby anybody. Nobody. Everybody, maybe Jalen because he first got here, but Tibbs, no. RJ, no. Julius, no. No kid gloves for anybody. Everybody needs to be held accountable from this point moving forward.
Yeah. And honestly, when it comes to Tibbs, I was talking to someone yesterday. If he doesn't do good here, and this whole him and Jalen relationship and Leon Rhodes relationship makes things a little awkward. If he's really the defensive-minded mastermind that everyone claims he could be, why don't we explore the option of him being a defensive coach? Like, if it doesn't look like he can run a team completely, but we know that he has impact with defense, what would it look like to have him as a defensive coach and bring someone that's more offensive minded, or even having him coach alongside homeboy who ran our summer league, who brought a lot out of our team offensively? Is there ways that we don't completely sabotage the relationship with him, but can utilize his strengths a little more and force out some of his weaknesses? I don't know. I think he's got strengths, but sometimes his weaknesses definitely outweigh and put our team in a really crappy situation.
Yeah,
this is my take right now, and I'm glad DSJ asked the question in the chat. Here's my answer. I'm gonna give it on episode 2 for the rest of the season. I will not partake in any should we fire Tibbs conversations this entire season. You guys we can have conversations on the show, and when we have the panel talking about it, I'm gonna say it here like this, because I am not gonna do it this season, and here's why. Both of you, your points, 100% accurate. There's no more gloves being worn. There's no more, let's see what we have. I think this season, the team will actually decide what happens with Tibbs. Everything will come to fruition on its own. So now we know what we have. Now it's your time, Tibbs, to sit there and let the guys that start to rise to the top get their time, move the minutes the right way. He can't hide behind anything anymore, right? The guys on the team, the young ones, they can't hide anymore. Right? They can hide based on how he balances minutes and stuff, right? That works against them. But I'm not going to partake in it. Do your job. See what we have. Figure out the perimeter defense. Let's get the right people in the right places before the trade deadline. Move Fournier. Get us a piece or two that we need. And let's do that. So, Tibbs, all season, my friend, I will not be talking about the firing. If it happens, you earned it on your own. That's it. All right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No.
You felt good about that one, huh? You
had to get that off your chest, bro. You had to let it be known beforehand. But yeah, I agree with you, bro. This is the year. No more waiting to see what we have. It's put up or shut up time, right? Thanks. And Phil, to your point, when it comes to his defense and would he take a step back and just be his ego is too much. Tom Thibodeau is not going to take a demotion, right? That's one thing we know about Tibbs and just coaches in general in the NBA. You're not going to take a demotion just so somebody else could be the head coach and you be the defensive coach. No. If this was football, we could definitely make that happen. Yeah. But also, too, when it comes to Tom Thibodeau, and this is the conversation I was having last year with a bunch of other people. When it comes to Tom Thibodeau and his defense, when he was in his heyday in Chicago, when he had MVP D Rose, he had that squad over there. Back then, the NBA was different. There was not three ball. People weren't shooting the ball as much as they are right now. In this day and age, in 2022, those defensive schemes do not work. You see it with the Knicks. Look how horrible we are defending the perimeter shot. Back then, you can have a couple defenders be on the wing or whatever. Copy, you could clog the paint up so a point guard can't get in the paint. This day and age, everybody's outside. Everybody's outside on the perimeter. You can't just clog up the paint and hopefully get a trap. You can't do that anymore. And that's what Tibbs used to do back in Boston. It's a different day and age. An old dog has to learn a new trick.
Yeah, I feel like we have with him, we have the same thing we had with Phil Jackson. Something that used to work, and then we bring it in to an era where it doesn't work, and we're just like, but we brought in a coach that has like such great reputation, from his past, and we're banking on the past instead of realizing that the game continues to evolve, and we're stuck with like players like Franklin Ntilikina trying to do a triangle, that kind of thing all over again.
Yeah, and like DSJ said, it's a great point, DSJ. He said also when Tibbs was coaching in Chicago, the culture was already established with defensive-minded players. Absolutely. Kurt Heinrich was a very good defensive backup point guard. Luol Deng was a very good defensive role player, right? They had a lot of good players already set in stone in Chicago, and DSJ, that's a great point. So I want to ask you guys this, because this was something that was big on like Knicks Twitter and stuff like that. People were losing their mind yesterday. When it comes to Donovan Mitchell and RJ Barrett, everybody's like, we should have traded Barrett for Mitchell. We should have traded for Mitchell, blah, 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 blah. I'll start with you, Celso. What was your take when it comes to this whole Donovan? What's your thought? How do you feel with this Donovan Mitchell and RJ Barrett situation?
I'll stick to my same answer when we talk behind the scenes, when we talk on FaceTime. All right. I'm not going to keep crying over spilt milk. It didn't happen. We knew what we would have to give up to get him. It wasn't just RJ. You were giving up other pieces as well. Is Mitchell fantastic? Yeah. Did he literally drive down past four of our guys, spin and dunk like there was nobody else in the paint? Yeah, he did. Did he start the night off with 5 threes and just show out? Yeah. I'm done talking about Spider Mitchell. I really am. We got Jalen. We know what we have on our Knicks. We're going to do what we do, right? Why are we going to sit there and keep – to me, it's so clickbaity, right? Oh, my gosh, we should have traded RJ. Dead smack in the middle of the game. No, what you should have done is not put that tweet out, focus on the damn game, and studied on the other stuff and focus on, oh, these are the pieces that maybe didn't work last night. Not RJ. RJ did not work. Hey, I actually saw RJ hit some threes last night. He hasn't been doing that, right? So I want to see RJ progressing. I'm not going to have the conversation, should we trade RJ? I'm still sold on RJ. Yeah. Sorry, 5-6 games in, you're not going to sit here and convince me that we're not going to get the 2023 RJ that I expect us to have, bro. That's it.
And, this is why Worldwide Mayberry always comes through with the hot takes. He said, I agree with Jiggaman. Stop crying over spilled milk. Yes, I agree. Yep. As much as we wanted Donovan Mitchell here, and Phil, I'll throw it to you right after this. I feel that, like you said, I'm brought in when it comes to RJ Barrett. And it wasn't just going to be RJ Barrett for Mitchell Robinson. No, it was going to be RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes, and like 5 or 6 first-round picks for Donovan Mitchell. They would have gutted our team. It would have gutted our team. Now, if it was a 1-for-1 RJ for Donovan Mitchell, we could have the conversation, but it wasn't that. And we have to be realistic when it comes to that, right? Phil, go ahead, bro. What's your take when it comes to it?
Yeah, man, I think people need to stop, bro. Like Jiggaman was saying, there's no point in having a conversation of what ifs. Like it's Spider's a great player, incredible athlete. But like you said, we were giving up everything to get him. And it's been straight up said from people from the Jazz organization that Danny Ainge had no intention of making it easy for the Knicks to get him. Like, there was no desire. That chip that he has on his shoulder, he was wearing it and enjoying it. Like, he was laughing in his sleep that the Knicks kept trying and not getting it. If it was 1-for-1, maybe it's a different conversation. But it doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything. Now we have to look forward on like what is going to work, what's not going to work. Like, and here's the thing is like, stop trying to make it this us versus him type of thing. the Knicks wanted him. Like we did. He wanted to be in New York, so it's not this weird, like, oh, the Knicks dropped the ball, because the Knicks didn't. The Knicks did everything that made sense to do. They actually, and it's weird because a lot of the people that are complaining we didn't get him are people that complained about what we gave up for Melo. And I'm like, how are you complaining about what happened with Melo and then wanting to do the exact same thing, if not more, this season? Like, when we're already building out of the crap that we've been in for the last how many years. So yeah, we need to move on, enjoy the team that we got, like, and watch our careers go somewhere. Like, you got other teams that really understand the beauty and value of getting someone in the draft and then watching them bear that, like, burden of holding the city on their back, like Steph's done with Golden State. Like, don't we want something like that instead of someone that's going to come in, put 2 years, and then be gone again? Like, no, let's build something that's going to last for years and years to come. And I think we're on the right trajectory.
Yeah. Like El said, it takes team effort. Our perimeter defense was horrible as a team. They almost shot 50% from three. They made 24. I believe no NBA team would have won that game. They shot 53 pointers last night. That's the thing about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They like to shoot that three. They shot 50 of them and they hit 24 or 24 of them. Not that many teams are going to win the game. Especially we had a 10-point lead going into that fourth quarter. We should focus on why we gave up that lead. Why did Tibbs make his substitution and his rotation changes when he did, when Obi was doing good, when Quickly was doing good? Ride them out for a few more minutes. You saw what happened. That offense just stumbled in that fourth quarter, and Jalen Brunson, it looked like he was tired more than anything. It looked like that game against the Bucks actually drained energy out of him because he was being doubled and triple teamed. And that's a point from DSJ. Danny Ainge didn't want to deal with the Knicks in good faith, and I agree with it, Phil. Great take, bro.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Jalen did look tired because I don't think he's ever played under the weight of a coach like Tibbs. Like, when he was in Dallas, he knew what it was like to be substituted out when he needed rest. Like, and then you come into this team where guys like him and Julius are playing almost 40 minutes, every single night. That's going to be a huge difference from, like, you coming out and not having to play superhero, again, which is what he did in Dallas. Like, he played well, sat down, came back, played well again, sat down, played well. Now it's play well, sit for 3 minutes, and then be ready. You need to play well again. That's going to kick his butt, and he's not the kind of player that you see staying in his position, waiting for the ball. This is the kind of guy that's running around everywhere, trying to create, taking blows to the body because he is a hard player. So 39 minutes for a guy like that, as opposed to 39 minutes like a guy like Fournier who just catches and shoots all the time, like, it's going to feel different, those 39 minutes. It's going to feel different on a player like Jalen. And we got to make sure that we don't, shoot ourselves in the foot by putting too much pressure on him.
Yeah. I mean, so far, let go ahead, Jigga. Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead, bro.
No, what I was going to say is that I was going to bring up, so far after 6 games, we were 3-3. I was just going to bring up, the stats leaders for the team. So when you go to points per game, we got Randall, who's leading the league, leading the team with 18.3 points per game. Brunson's right behind him, 18.2. And then you got RJ Barrett, who is sitting at 17.7 points per game, right? And then if you go over to the rebounding side of things, you got Randall leading away with 9.3 rebounds, Hartenstein with 8 rebounds, and Mitchell Robinson with 6.2 rebounds. And then when you go over to assists, you got Brunson leading the team with 7.2, Quickly with 4, and then Randall with 3.5. What's your thoughts? And I want this conversation before we dip out between Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein. Because I feel Mitchell Robinson, he has great stretches defensively. He's a beast when it comes to the offensive glass. But again, in this day and age, in this NBA, when you have stretch fives and Mitchell Robinson is just a low post old school center, it just clogs up the paint and it makes everybody's job harder when it comes to Brunson, RJ, and Randall operating the paint. It makes it harder because Mitchell Robinson, he's just a void on offense. Jigga, what's your points? And then pass it over to Phil.
I think having Hartenstein and Mitch gives us a good opportunity to, based on what team we're up against, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like last night, right? I would like to see more Hartenstein time, right? We were needing help on the perimeter and a guy that can shoot. He shoots well. He'll pull up right wherever he is in the paint and just throw it up there. Mm-hmm. They weren't really driving to the hole last night. Their perimeter is what killed us big time. So to me, I'm a Hartenstein fan, but I'll always back Mitch, right? And I think Mitch plays a solid piece for us, and is huge, and I think is a big piece on why we are one of the best teams right now in protecting the paint, like we are defensively, right? No one's just coming in there. I mean, it did a couple of times last night, but no, I'm a Hartenstein fan, man. I don't think he'll be bigger than what Mitch can be for us, but I think he's going to play a very big role for us this season.
Agree. Same. Go ahead, Phil. What's your thoughts on the Mitch and Hartenstein?
Yeah. So the one stat that's crazy is the rebounds. And I think that this plays a part because of how many times Mitch has to come off the floor, right? Because of his foul trouble. I feel like that is what's really stopping him from being one of the elite centers, is not so much that he's not a three-point shooter and that he solely plays his role in the paint. It's that he either plays a great defensive effort where he's got tons and tons of blocks and he's going straight up, or all game it seems like he can't stop his hands from coming down on someone's neck or head or shoulders, and he's out of the game. And then we suffer defensively and offensively on the rebounds because he's on the bench. And so I think something that's really weird is because I like Hartenstein a lot. But if you look at something like yesterday, I feel like there's so many chances for our team to explore something different that we haven't done before that could be beautiful, but our coaching staff doesn't see it or do it. Like, you have guys like yesterday, there was times where Mobley's a big guy. Like, Mobley can substitute and play center if he needs to. But so you have Mobley and Allen, or Mobley and Lopez, or, they could even do Allen and Lopez. So you have these two big guys. Like, with Hartenstein's strength of shooting a three, if we're struggling in defense or whatever, why not bring them both in at the same time, Hartenstein and Mitch, and play a different kind of David Robinson, Duncan kind of game where it's not just in the paint, but you have Mitch holding it down in the paint and he can help there, but he can also pop out. So now the defense has to worry about spreading the floor with two bigs because defensively they're going to be incredible in the paint, but Hartenstein can also pop out for the three. Why not explore things, try things, stop the two big guys?
I wouldn't mind seeing both of them together.
I wouldn't mind at all. That's a great. That would be a great rotation. We take Evan out of that rotation, put Hartenstein at the power forward spot, move Julius to the small forward, move RJ to the shooting guard, and then you have a big lineup out there with Jalen Brunson, and you got three guys out there that can hit the 3-point shot.
Yep. Yeah,
I'm good with that.
It just switches things up. But I feel like we go with this cookie cutter. These are our three rotations, and if we do those, that's what's going to make us win. Instead of thinking outside the box, try it, see what happens.
Yeah. Well, this team has a couple of days off before the next game. Next game is Wednesday night, so we got tonight and tomorrow. Between these next two days, today and tomorrow, I need the Knicks to live in the film room. You need to live in the film room, be in there with the coaches, and see what you did wrong and clean that up. Because one thing we can see right now, it's the first 6 games of the season. They've been 50-50. We had 3 good wins that were solid. We saw some real good stuff, but then we had 3 losses that were horrible. One thing that I could still see that is a constant thing is that you still have guys on this team that still have bad habits, right? And their bad habits from last year are showing this year. So we have to clean up those bad habits, get rid of that. That's why I said live in the film room for the next 2 days, realize what's your bad habits, and work on getting rid of that.
Yeah.
Want to know why those rotations happen? Listen, and that's the thing about Tibbs. Tibbs is he's just stuck in his old ways. Like, you got to realize Tibbs, he's about to be 70 years old, right? This is the first time in his life that he grew his beard out. It took him this long to grow his beard out. That right there should just tell you something.
First of all right, hold on. Because in his defense, he might have the Jigga problem, all right? Where it's called homie's 40 and still trying to fill little spots, all right? So let's take it easy on guys that have a problem growing beards, you cool guys. I don't want to talk to you guys.
Yeah, man. Hector, I think you're right, bro. This next game, I think, is going to be big for us. It has to be. We got the Hawks, right? Hawks coming up.
Yeah, the Hawks. We're playing the Hawks next.
Yeah, and so, like, here's the thing. You're going to deal with the same Knicks chitter chatter. If we lose, oh, it's the Knicks' fault. We didn't get DeJounte Murray, this, that, and what, like all this craziness, So I think we need to buckle down. We need to play hard at this game. We need to not let the Hawks, have their Trae Young trash talk, that he loves to do against New York. We need to go in there like we have something to prove, not so much to everybody else, but to ourselves. Like, I feel like if we go in there and we don't handle our own against the Hawks, it's going to bring some defeatism to our morale. I think that we need it for morale's sake more so than proving to New York fans that this is a game we can take.
Yeah,
I think we can. I want to see us compete. I want to see us be competitive. I want to see us have a
and it's always F Trae Young. It's always F Trae Young. Go ahead, Jig. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I already said in my head while you were saying it. I was like, how'd you know I was gonna say it? I was just gonna say it. It was perfect. Right. Well, I think we pretty much touched on everything today, right, guys?
Yeah.
Cool. Appreciate everybody in the chat hanging out with us here on the Knicks Morning Brew. This Friday, we got our boy, Mr. Snapback Jack, the Snapback Sportsman himself, the Knights of Dejan, man, Jack Settleman, coming on the show to hang out with us. We got a lot we can still cover on Wednesday. Next episode, 11 a.m., right? I also need to make sure before we go, I throw it up there. Yeah, he's still my man Crush Monday. I'm still riding with my boy Jalen Brunson. That's my man Crush Monday for this week. Man, guys, I think the weekend showed us a lot, but I'm excited for this season. I really am. Yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of ups and downs. I'm hoping we have a lot more highs than lows, but I'm ready, man. I really am, and I'm excited to be doing this show with you guys 3 days a week. Let's go.
Oh, 100%. We got so much lined up. Phil, when you come to New York, it's gonna be a treat when you come to the city, bro. Same thing with Jigga. I cannot wait.
I cannot wait. If you're watching the show, you're in the chat, and there's certain people you think should be on the show, whether in the panel or as guests, drop it in the links. Shoot us a Twitter message, shoot us an Instagram message. We want to hear from the people that you feel are worth hearing from. We want to have the conversations that we know you guys want to have. And we want this show to be something that we don't talk at you, but that we talk with you. So let us know how that can happen. And let's just continue to build these relationships in the Knicks community.
Facts. When it comes to analogy, Phil will handle all the analogies. We're just here to enjoy the ride with Phil. That's it. That's it.
I need to get scared every once in a while. Ready? The door scares me. On that note, peace. We're out.
Yeah.